The Pacific Northwest, majestic mountains, vast forests, and a city called Spokane, Washington. But even here, darkness found a home. People began to vanish. He walked among them, unseen, unremarkable. A man with an ordinary life, on the surface. Beneath, a predator hunted Spokane's streets. His prey, the overlooked. He moved like a ghost, leaving sorrow and dread. The crimes were brutal, cold, calculated. Each discovery sent new waves of horror. This wasn't random violence, there was a chilling pattern. A single, methodical hand at work. The city waited, breath held, for answers. This is the story of Robert Lee Yates Jr., a name that became synonymous with betrayal, a darkness hidden in plain sight, a serial killer who turned the familiar into the frightening. His actions scarred a community, and left questions that linger even today. How could this happen? Could it happen again? The shadow he cast was long, and very, very dark. Who was Robert Lee Yates Jr.? Born in 1952, he grew up like so many others. He joined the Army, became a helicopter pilot, earned medals, a decorated veteran. On paper, he looked like a protector, someone you'd trust. He married, had 5 children, lived in a quiet suburb. Neighbors saw a family man mowing the lawn, playing with his kids. But this was a carefully constructed facade. Beneath it, a secret life of violence. His double life began in the 1970s. Then, a long pause, or perhaps undiscovered acts. The terror that gripped Spokane stretched from 1996 to 1998. During these years, he was both husband and prolific serial murderer. He moved between the mundane and the monstrous with chilling ease. It makes you wonder about the faces people wear, about the darkness that can reside within the seemingly normal. Yates was a master of deception, his military precision applied to his horrific acts, keeping his 2 lives separate until the end. When the mask finally slipped, the true face was revealed. The community was left reeling. How could someone so ordinary be so monstrous? The answer lay in the secrets he kept, and the lives he destroyed. The story of Robert Yates is a warning. Evil can hide in plain sight, and sometimes it wears a neighbor's face. Spokane would never be the same. The victims were almost always women in vulnerable situations. Many were sex workers. He targeted them, knew where to find them, how to lure them in, a ride, some money, then into his vehicle, into a trap. His methods were cold, efficient. A .25 caliber handgun, small, easily concealed, deadly. He often shot his victims, but there was another signature: plastic bags, sometimes placed over their heads before death, sometimes after. A chilling trademark that haunted investigators. Bodies were dumped in remote locations, wooded areas, embankments, even his own yard. The audacity to kill, then live with the evidence so close. It spoke of chilling confidence or profound sickness. Over time, a pattern emerged: victim profile, weapon, plastic bags, disposal sites. It painted a picture of a methodical killer, someone who knew what he was doing, and would likely kill again. The task force studied these details relentlessly, searching for a clue, anything to lead them to the man behind the blueprint. The city's fear grew as the body count rose. Each crime scene told the same story. A predator was at work, and he was getting away with murder. The pressure on investigators mounted. The community demanded answers. But the killer stayed one step ahead, until a survivor changed everything. The pattern was his undoing, and the city's hope for justice. The hunt was on, and the clock was ticking. Spokane's nightmare was far from over, but the clues were finally coming together. The endgame had begun. The names echo even now. Patrick Oliver, Susan Savage, early victims, cases cold for years. Jennifer Joseph, Heather Hernandez, Melody Murfin, lives stolen, families shattered. These were daughters, sisters, mothers, friends. Christine Smith survived, her courage a turning point. 13 confirmed murders in Spokane, 2 more in Pierce County. Each one a tragedy, a testament to the evil unleashed. Their memories demand justice. The city mourned, but their legacy lives on. The victims are the true heart of this story, and their light endures. Spokane was on edge. Fear gripped the city, especially along Sprague Avenue, the red light district. Women working the streets felt like targets. Every car, every stranger could be him. Trust vanished, replaced by suspicion. The city's sense of safety was shattered. News reports fueled anxiety. Marginalized populations, especially sex workers, were terrified. Some tried to work in groups, others stayed home. But survival meant risk. The killer exploited this vulnerability. The impact was profound. Lives changed, trust broken. Spokane would never be the same. The nightmare lingered, long after the killer was caught. The investigation was a marathon. Detectives faced a daunting challenge. So many victims, so few leads. A task force formed. Local police, sheriff's office, FBI. They pooled resources, shared information, connected the dots. It was a race against time. Witness sightings were crucial. A suspicious vehicle, a glimpse of a man. Then the white Corvette. Christine Smith, the survivor, remembered it, a 1970s model. Investigators focused on white Corvettes, a tangible lead. Then came the breakthrough DNA. Semen found at several crime scenes matched. A single killer. But who? The DNA wasn't in the system. The net tightened. Yates was stopped in his white Corvette, a routine stop, but it put him on the radar. Investigators asked for a DNA sample. He refused. They persisted, retrieved DNA from a discarded item. The match, Robert Lee Yates, Jr. The decorated veteran, the family man. The arrest came swiftly. April 18, 2000. The long hunt was over. Relief swept through Spokane. The community could finally breathe. But the story was far from over. The legal battle was just beginning. The evidence was overwhelming. The city watched as justice unfolded. The nightmare had a name. And now, he would face the consequences. The investigation became a model for future cases. The lessons learned would save lives. Spokane's darkest chapter was closing, but the scars would remain. The city would never forget, and neither would the families. Yates's arrest brought relief, but the legal battle began. In Spokane County, he faced charges for 13 murders and 1 attempted murder. The evidence, especially DNA, was overwhelming. To avoid the death penalty, Yates made a deal. He pleaded guilty, confessed, and received 408 years in prison. For some it was justice, for others, not enough. But there were other crimes. 2 murders in Pierce County. Yates hadn't confessed to these. Pierce County prosecuted, seeking the death penalty. A new trial, new testimony, more harrowing details. In 2002, a jury found Yates guilty and sentenced him to death. He was sent to death row, appealing, waiting. The families waited too, hoping for final justice, but the legal system moved slowly, and sometimes in unexpected directions. The story wasn't over. The community watched, divided. Some wanted closure, others wanted more answers. The case became a symbol of justice and its limits. Yates's fate hung in the balance. But for the victims' families, the pain endured. Justice for them was never simple, and the wounds ran deep. For years, Yates sat on death row in Walla Walla. Then, a shift. Washington's legal landscape changed. The state's death penalty was ruled unconstitutional in 2018. All death sentences, including Yates's, were invalidated. His sentence was commuted to life in prison without parole. For some, this was a disappointment. For others, a reflection of changing standards. Yates remains imprisoned, now in his 70s. The hunter caged. His reign of terror ended, but the consequences live on. In the memories of the victims' families, in the community he once stalked, life in prison, a final judgment. But for many, the pain and questions never fade. He is locked away, the story endures, the scars remain, and Spokane remembers. The Yates case left deep scars on Spokane and its people, but it also brought change. Law enforcement learned valuable lessons about DNA, interagency cooperation, and investigating serial crimes. The Spokane Task Force became a model for future cases. Community awareness shifted. There was greater understanding of the vulnerabilities faced by sex workers and those on the margins. The case sparked conversations about protection and support. The fight for safety continues, driven by the memory of those lost. The legacy is one of remembrance. The victims must not be forgotten. Their names, their stories, they were more than numbers. They were loved, missed. Remembering them honors their lives and reinforces the commitment to justice. The Yates saga is a cautionary tale about vigilance, community, and the enduring pursuit of justice. Even as years pass, the story matters, for the lessons learned, for the lives changed forever, and for the hope that, by understanding the darkness, we can better protect the light. Spokane will never forget. The victim's legacy endures, the city moves forward, but the lessons remain. Justice is a journey, not a destination. The story of Robert Lee Yates Jr. is a warning. Evil can hide in plain sight, but so can resilience and hope. The light endures, and Spokane stands stronger. Comment what city I should do next.